Hello, welcome everyone. Hope everybody is hearing me perfectly. Good. Welcome to this session dedicated to the empowerment of women and sustainable water management in Burkina Faso. I'm very happy to welcome you all here in my session, which is not actually a presentation but a discussion that we will have together about that topic. Slide. I am Anfani Sabi, young expert in communications, gender, and social inclusion for World Waternet in Burkina Faso. And I am going to present you this topic today. Here is our program. This is how our presentation is going to be. First, we will have the introduction. After, we'll talk about gender disparity in agriculture and water needs. After, it will be the impact of women empowerment in agriculture. Then I will propose you some strategy for women empowerment in water management. Then the recommendation for policies and practice, and a conclusion and discussion at the end of this presentation. Slide. Before I start, I have a small quiz for all of you present in this session, and you can just type the answers in the chat, and I will have a look after. And the question is, what do you think is the percentage of women owning agricultural land in Burkina Faso compared to men? This is the question. Okay, I can see that the answers are okay. Thank you. Slide. I will give you the right answer in my introduction. Thank you. Burkina Faso, formerly the Republic of Upper Volta, is a country in West Africa with no access to the sea. It's surrounded by six countries: Niger, Benin, Togo, Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Mali. Its political capital is Ouagadougou, and its economical capital is called Bobo Dioulasso. According to the United Nations, 86% of Burkina Faso rural population work in agriculture, where practice remain traditional and production is dependent on climatic conditions. In the current context of climate change, marked by rainfall irregularities and rising temperatures, the rural world is the most exposed to food crisis, despite the agricultural development of the country. And this sector, this agricultural sector, has by far the largest demand of water, around 75%. And in Burkina Faso, with its arid climate, there are very few permanent water courses available for irrigate agriculture. Women are often responsible for collecting and managing water for domestic use and small-scale farming, livestock, and vegetable garden. They then need relief, safe, and sufficient water supply. Ladies and gentlemen, women farmers work longer hours, have fewer opportunities for formal education, low knowledge, and have lower incomes than men. Around 70% of agricultural production depends on women. Even though they own, now I'm going to give the answer, they own only 8%. So I can see that in the chat, some person have the right answer. Only 8% of agricultural lands, according to the UN, are owned by women in Burkina Faso. They also have limited access to water, infrastructure, and irrigation system, which increase the risk of crop failure and food insecurity. Gender and agriculture are two critical issues here in Burkina Faso. Agriculture in Burkina Faso is a women business. The backbone, and women are the backbone of the economy of Burkina Faso. However, gender disparity persists, with women facing numerous challenges in accessing resources and opportunities in agriculture, particularly in water management. Oh, I can see that my collaborator is in advance. Here is the second point we are going to to talk about: gender disparity in agriculture and water needs. In that section, I must say that in Burkina Faso, gender disparities has profound implications for farm yields and overall agricultural productivity. Traditionally, agricultural programs have predominantly targeted men, reflecting broader societal norms. However, focusing on women could lead to significant improvement in farm yields and agricultural outcomes. Here, I'm going to give a detailed analysis of the impact of gender disparities on farm yield in Burkina Faso and how addressing these disparities can enhance agricultural production. So, talking about the impact of gender disparities in farm yields in Burkina Faso, the first point is access to land. Um, in Burkina, ownership and access are often controlled by men, unfortunately, with traditional norms and legal framework limiting women land rights. Women may work on land owned by male families without secure tenure or control over the land. And here the risk is that without secure land tenure, women farmers may be less likely to invest in long-term improvement or innovation. And this lack of investment can lead to suboptimal land management and reduced agricultural productivity. The second point is access to fertilizer and seeds. Men have historically been the primary beneficiaries of programs that distribute agricultural inputs such as fertilizer and improved seeds. Women often face barrier to accessing these inputs due to gender biases and logistical challenges. And here, the risk is that limited access to quality fertilizer and seeds means women farmers may not be able to achieve optimal crop yield. This results in lower productivity and less efficient use of available resources. The third point is access to microfinance. Women in Burkina Faso often face difficulties in accessing microfinance and credit due to the gender basis and lack of collateral. Financial institutions may favor men when providing loan and financial service. Ladies and gentlemen, limited access to credit restrict women's ability to invest in modern farming techniques, equipment, and inputs. And this financial constraint can hinder the ability to improve farm yields, to adopt innovative practice. The second point is training and extension service. Agricultural extension service and training program in Burkina Faso have historically focused on male farmers, often overlooking the specific needs of women. This can be due to cultural norms and assumption about gender roles. Women who do not receive adequate training may lack knowledge about modern farming techniques and technologies, affecting their ability to maximize crop yields and farm efficiency. And then the last point is decision-making power. Gender role in Burkina Faso often place men in dominant position within agricultural decision-making process, while women may have limited input. When women are excluded from decision-making, they experience the perspective, their expertise and perspective are not utilized, potentially leading to less effective agricultural practice and lower yield. Ladies and gentlemen, before I continue, I would like to tell you a small story. This is actually one of my experience with women on the field that I would like to share with you. First, these women in rural zone, I'm talking about the women farmers. First up in the morning, these women, they travel long distance to reach their land deployed all the day, with their babies on their back, blazing sun overhead, and their daba in hand. These women, as I said, travel long distance, and they are the pillar on which the future of their respective family actually rests. And to grow their seeds, again, these women travel long distance to get access to water, so that they can have something to grow their seeds. And returning home in the evening from their field, these women, they are going again to look for that blue gold. I'm calling it blue gold because water is have a lot of value here. So they are looking again for that blue gold that they will use to prepare the dinner, bath the children, take care of the house, and also put some in the bathroom for their husband. And as you can see, water is at the heart of all these women activity, whether it's to run household or to carry out farming activity, which incomes are used to send children at school and take care of all the family. Because it is important to say that this money women are having in agriculture on the land they are not owing is used for all the family. This was it's just a small story I wanted to share with you so that you can just have an idea of how complicated it can be. Now I'm going to talk to you about the benefit of targeting women in agricultural development. The first point is the increasing of agricultural productivity. Women who receive equal access to resource and support are likely to make significant improvement in farm productivity, benefiting both their family and community. The second benefit is sustainable resource management. Women often adopt sustainable practice and manage resource effectively when given the opportunity, leading to long-term improvement in agricultural productivity. The third benefit is economic empowerment. Em- Ladies and gentlemen, empowering women in agriculture can drive economic growth by increasing overall agricultural output and creating more robust rural economy. We after have the community benefits. Women enhance involvement in agriculture can lead to broader community benefits, including better health, education, and economic stability. Now I'm gonna share with you slide. I'm gonna share with you some strategy for addressing gender disparities. The first point is secure land rights for women. The implementation and the enforcement of legal reform to ensure women have equal right to land ownership and control. Land tenure security can encourage women to invest in and improve their agricultural practice. The second point is a targeted distribution. Here, I want to say that design and implement programs that ensure women have equitable access to fertilizers, seeds, and other essential agricultural inputs. This could, include female-focused distribution channel and support services. The third point is expanding microfinance services. So the financial inclusion. Develop and promote microfinance products tailored to women needs, including easier access to credit and financial service. It's supporting women in building credit history and collaterals. The fourth point is inclusive program. Here it is about ensuring agricultural training and extension service are gender sensitive and address the specific needs of women. Incorporate women perspective into programs design and delivery. And then the last point is encourage women participation in decision making. By promoting women involvement in agricultural and water management decision making process at both household and community level. Support women leadership role in agricultural and water organization and cooperative. Ladies and gentlemen, by addressing gender disparity and focusing on empowering women in agriculture and water management, Burkina Faso can achieve significant improvement in farm yields and overall agricultural productivity. And I think this approach not only benefit women, but also enhance the sustainability and efficiency of agricultural system in all the country. Slide. Now we're gonna talk about the impacts of women empowerment in agriculture and water management. To start, I should say that empowering women in agriculture and water management can have transformative effect on efficiency, incomes, family dynamics, and community development. In Burkina Faso, where agriculture is a crucial part of the economy and water management is essential due to the variable climate, targeting women can lead to significant improvement. And here is a comprehensive look at the benefit of empowering women in these areas. So the first benefit is um, the increase of water efficiency. Women often play a central role in household water management and may have valuable insights into efficient water use. When empowered with better tools and training, women can implement more efficient irrigation system and water conservation practice. And this can lead to improved water use efficiency in agriculture, reducing water waste and enhancing crop yields. Efficient water management also helps in adapting to climate variability and ensuring sustainable agriculture practice. The second point is higher incomes. Here, I want to say that by providing women with access to resources such as modern irrigation technology, training, and credit, their ability to manage water effectively can lead to increased agricultural productivity and higher incomes. And increased incomes for women contribute to the broader economy as women reinvest a significant portion of their earnings into their family and community, driving local economy development. And the third point is more time for the family. Efficient water management can reduce the time women spend on collecting water and managing irrigation. This time saving allows women to focus on their productive activity or family responsibility. Because here it is important to say that women wake up very early in the morning to go and fetch the water for for the house before going to the field. This is a reminder. So more time at home means women can engage more in family care, child rearing, and other domestic responsibilities, leading to improved family well-being and support for their children education, which is actually very important. And the fourth point is greater independence, because access to resources and training empowers women to make decisions and manage agricultural and water-related activity independently. This autonomy can boost their confidence and influence within their household and community. Empowered women are likely to take on leadership roles in community, organization, and agricultural cooperatives, fostering greater community development and advocacy for women's rights. And the last point is more time for homeschooling. Ladies and gentlemen, with improved efficiency in water management and reduced household burn, women can dedicate more time to homeschooling their children. This enhances educational outcome and support to overall development to the next generation. And you know that better education for children, particularly girls, can lead to improved future economic opportunities and contribute to breaking the cycle of poverty in our country. Slide. Um, the women empowerment can also have benefit for the country, and this is what we are going to talk about now. At the national level, we can say that as more women adopt efficient water management practice and improve agricultural productivity, the benefit can scale up to contribute to national food security and agriculture output. And about the climate resilience, I can say that empowered women can lead community level climate adaptation efforts, such as implementing water saving technologies and sustainable farming practice, enhancing the country resilience to climate change. The third point is economic development. You know, the gender inclusive development strategy can drive broader economic growth. Women increased participation in agriculture and water management can stimulate local economy and create new opportunities. And then the last point is the social equity. Focusing on women empowerment in this sector promote gender equality and helps address socioeconomic disparities. It supports the goal of achieving equal opportunities and empowering women's stature in society. Here, before we go to the next slide, I would like to share a small example about a project we had here in Burkina Faso, and which we have now the second phase. That project is called ECDD, which means in French, Eau clé du développement durable, in English, water key for sustainable development. And in that project, in the first phase, we we carry out a lot of activities to help women in agriculture being independent by giving them trainings and also tools so that they can themselves create their cooperative, their groups, and be independent. So the farm, the sell, and that money they're using also for the microfinance and so on. But this was a very pilot phase, and now we are starting with a new phase of that project, which is called Water Key for Sustainable Development (IWRM), but I will call it Women Key for Sustainable Development, because in that project women are in the heart of all these activity, and all these activity are targeting women so that at the end they can be more independent and also well educated in terms of water management and sustainable agriculture. And this project is a project financed by the Dutch government in Burkina Faso. Slide. Here I'm going to talk about some strategy for women empowerment in water management. In the first point, I'm talking about the promoting small-scale irrigation. It means providing women access to affordable irrigation systems that are easy to operate, maintain, and repair. Secondly, training and capacity building. It's all about implementing training programs that focus on modern irrigation techniques, water conservation, and sustainable agricultural practice tailored to women's needs. And the third point is access to resources. It means ensure women have access to irrigation technologies, quality seeds, fertilizer, and microfinance to support their agricultural activities. Slide. We also have you know, the sustainable, the sustainability focused extension service, which is providing extension service and training on sustainable water management practice and technology, including rainwater harvesting and conservation agriculture. And the legal reform is here advocate for policies that ensure women land rights and access to water resources. Support initiatives that promote women participation in decision-making process related to water and agriculture. Slide. Then we have the community-based management. The community-based the community-based resource management is about creating women-led water committees to manage local water resources and reduce conflicts over water use. The water sensitive the water sensitive policies and practice. It's about integrating gender perspective into policies and practices around water resources management and agricultural. Dear heroes and advocate of noble causes, here I should say that providing training to women in water management technique, including designing the building small-scale irrigation system and conservation agriculture, is a very good idea to help women earning more incomes for their households and for their farming activities. Slide. Now, we are going to talk about some recommendations for the policymakers and practice. So, about the policymakers and practice, the first point is gender-sensitive policy and program. Here, I want to say that promote and implement gender-sensitive policies and program that empower women participation in water resource management initiative is very important. And this is a recommendation that I'm giving. The second recommendation is increased investment in sustainable water management technology and infrastructure, targeting the need of women farmers. The third point is create inclusive and participatory decision-making process that involve women in the development and implementation of strategy to promote sustainable agriculture and water management. And the last point is support research, monitoring, and evaluation of water resource management initiative with a gender perspective to identify gaps, best practice, and opportunities for improvement. Slide. So now we are at the end of this presentation, and the conclusion is that empowering women in agriculture is essential for sustainable water management and sustainable development for Burkina Faso. And addressing gender disparities in agriculture and ensuring women equitable access to resources and opportunity in water management is crucial to achieving inclusive and sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, an African quote says that invest in women is invest in a country. As I said in the beginning of my presentation, this is not this is not a presentation but a discussion, and I'm happy to see that more than 30% is attending my presentation. It means that more than 30 ambassadors are here, and I would like now to open a session where we will discuss together. You will give me your feedbacks, and then we will see how together we can empower our women for a sustainable development in the water and the agricultural sector. Slide. This is our question time. And I have 3 questions I would like first to ask to my audience, and then we will discuss together. I think, William,
Yes, I'm here.
Uh, Maybe we should now allow people to talk. Now we will talk. We will start question by question. I have three questions here, and I'm wondering how we are going to organize it. Maybe we'll go question by question. People answer in the chat, or they can just take the floor and express themselves. Then,
Yeah, I can open up for the voice and video, and you can take it away.
okay. So we are going with the first question. I would like to know if in the audience someone have more recommendation for the policymakers or in practice, because I give some recommendation and I would like to know if among you someone have something to say about that. You can just take the floor and speak if you want. Yes, Dorcas?
Hi, thank you very much for a very informative presentation. I really appreciate that. I'm contacting you from Scotland, but we work quite a lot in a number of different countries from Water Witness International. I'm just thinking we have a program on raising the voices of women. And what I notice is quite often when we're talking about women as more prominent decision makers, we're quite often looking at solutions to fix women, to give them more training, to give them more opportunity, to give, but actually also we've got to actually work on making these spaces listen more. If you understand what I'm saying, you know, it's not always about women raising their voices, it's about women being heard.
Yes, I think you are right, Dorcas. And yeah, because it's not we don't want to talk like talking and talking. We want to be heard, as you said. And now this is a challenge. Dorcas, you can continue, or have you
Yeah,
finished?
yeah. I think it's more. It's partly, you know, because women can be, they can have their capacity built. They can exercise the right to speak, etc. But quite a few spaces, they're, even though they have as much training and as much, the actual spaces need to be, you know, some of the education has to be in the spaces to actually listen more and to appreciate that they have something important to say. And I think that's where our work is showing that those two sides of the coin are both equally important. I
Yeah.
think that's all.
Thank you so much for your input, Dorcas. And I think you are right. And this is something we are neglected sometimes, but this is also very important to make sure that we really reach our goals, because it's not all about just talking and making the trainings, but it's also about making sure that people understand and are very, touched about what we are saying. Thank you so much for your great input. Yes, Ewout?
Yeah, Fanny, thank you very much for your very informative presentation and very inspiring. All the recommendations you mentioned and the ideas to empower more women working and playing an important role in agriculture. I was thinking at this moment there is a big disbalance. 90 or like only 10% of the agricultural land is owned by women itself, and it's very much a challenge to break through or to uh, bring the balance again. And you can force it by policy making and by rules regulations, but um, maybe also what can work is if there can be ambassadors, women that are given the floor and also acting as ambassadors, so they can inspire other women and men that it can actually be done. And maybe there should also be a change within the men, how they perceive the women and their work, and also how they interact with them. Because if it is a very masculine environment, yeah, it's not fun to work in, I think, as a woman. So yeah, I'm thinking out loud, how can you also change the behavior of the men so it is more friendly for women to also work in maybe more managing positions, or in being a landowner, for example. Yeah. Just but I think pointing out ambassadors and leading by example could be also a great thing to do.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ewout. And this is very interesting. And I can see that some questions and some propositions are also, in the chat. They are talking about also, having men ambassador. So both women and men ambassador. This is very important. And I think this is a good recommendation that you are giving now. And concerning that point, I can say that we should also involve a lot youth, because it's better to start earlier with people to make them, because it is more easy to start when we are young than when we are already old. If we start now, this is something we're gonna develop, and after it will be something great in our head. But this is a big challenge here in Burkina, because as I said, this is something very traditional and historical, and we really need to change it. And we need to find that way, the way to change this way of seeing things. But thank you, Ewout, for your recommendation.
If there's not somebody else, I would like to react on what you just said, because a good example about what you said, beginning with the youth, a good example is the conference we joined, you and I and Jeannette and Arnoud, in Rwanda. In Rwanda, there is the gender equality. They are one of the highest ranking countries in gender equality index, even higher than the Netherlands. And there it is, of course, a special situation, because after the genocide, everybody in the country had to work to rebuild the country. So the gender was no issue. Both men and women had to work, and they were given equal opportunities. And that's why now there are as many women as many men working in also higher positions. But that's also a great example of how younger generation can change the whole system. And to me, that was very interesting to see. And we have to deal also with the power relations that are already in place. And it's the fact that men are dominant, and there are old power influences, and often also the status quo, and this is what the men keep in place. So also that's something we should a bit challenge, I think. And it can help if really the new generation gets different education and different mindset, so it will be normal that there is equality, something like that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ewout. Is there anyone who want to say something? Oh, I have a question for you, Dorcas.
Yes.
Do you have? You say you are coming from Sweden. Do
No,
you have
Scotland. Scotland.
Sorry.
Scotland.
Oh, Scotland.
Because
Sorry. Do you encounter also in your country something like disparities between men and women regarding this sector, water, agriculture, or not?
Yes, yes. We also have disparities in, just now we're making some progress in the political spaces for women. We're
Okay.
making some progress now, but it is still something we're struggling for, and also for equal pay and things like that. It's not a perfect world by any standards. So I think it's something that we have to think about globally, on many fronts, kind of thing. So we're by no means have we got any of the answers, to the problems. But I think just coming back to the questions that were posed earlier on youth, we're working with our partners in Tanzania. We're actually the child of our partners. We're the offspring of our Tanzanian partner. And they're doing a project just now, a really interesting project with women and youth, voices of women and youth, working with media training and working with the media. And then the journalists training the youth and the women, and also the journalists helping them to write the stories they want to write. And also that's actually having a political impact, because then they're saying, well, actually, maybe we want to say this and we want to say that. And then the politicians saying, well, oh, so how does that work with, so our part in that is working with our partners on what the law says the rights are, to make them legally aware of what their rights are. And then they're working with the journalists to say, right, okay, so what do we want to do with that? And it's not too, it's making that very fairly done and very openly done, but within the legal frameworks that exist within the country.
Okay.
So that's quite an interesting stance, an interesting way that's working well.
Exactly. So are you working in Tanzania? Okay. What is
Yes.
the name? Yeah. Okay. With maybe the organization we can.
Shahidi wa Maji is the name of the organization doing that.
Okay. Can you just write it in the chat for us, please?
Sure.
And if you have a link, I don't know. Thank you for your input, Dorcas.
You're welcome.
So, anyone want to say something about his experience in gender disparities? Because
I might have a question, Fanny.
Yes.
So thank you so much for the interesting presentation. I am wondering, when you conduct, maybe in the pilot study that you conducted in Burkina, or in another project, or maybe someone else in another project, when you are engaged in activities that support women empowerment, how do you measure the impact?
Okay. How do we measure the impact of
women empowerment?
Okay.
When you are, please go ahead.
This is something about monitoring and evaluation, because before starting, we have what we call the inception phase of all these projects. In that phase, we are making some studies, and we are also making studies about the gender and social inclusions. So we have some indicators, and with that studies we are making, we design activities targeted for these women, and in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end, we make the evaluations with the M&E specialist to see if we reach. Because if we reach all these indicators, it means that we are really impacting. But if you don't reach these indicators, it means that there is a problem, and you should maybe change the activities or try to do other things. But I would like to say that this is very integrated, because we discuss with the population. Sometimes it is women in one part and men also in that part, to see what they really need to change and how we can change it for them. So they tell us, and now we design things for them. So just with the M&E, the monitoring, the evaluation, we know if we are impacting or not. It's with the indicators actually that we know that we impact.
Okay, thanks.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No,
so
I was
much.
wondering because such an indicator, for example, like the number of women who participated in a workshop or
Exactly. Exactly.
For me, it's always difficult to then link that to a sustainable empowerment of women, because sometimes, in my opinion, I see that those indicators are there, and then we just try to add as many women as possible to reach the indicator, and then when we've reached that indicator, then the effort is decreased a bit sometimes.
Yeah, and something important to say is that, the development is a process. When we talk about sustainable, it's something about a process. We should start somewhere, and we are not going to have the result yet, but you have to start it, because it is a lot of awareness to make them understand that even after the project, you need to continue what we are doing. Even when we are not there for you, so it is a lot of awareness session. And that's why we really like to work with youth, because it is easy with young people, to reach the impact, because when they are touched, they will start also doing the awareness all around them, and it's easy. But this is a process, but we should start by doing all these, activities and awareness sessions. Yeah.
Good point. Thanks, Fanny.
You're welcome. Have any recommendation maybe for the policy maker, Kate, that you would like to add? Oh, she's gone.
Sorry?
Do you have any recommendation that you would like to?
I think there might be more knowledgeable people in the room who can make a recommendation on this topic, since it's not really my job, but it's in my interest, so I would like to learn.
Okay, thank you so much.
Funny, I have a question. You just said you asked the women and the men separately, what do they need? Is there a lot of difference between their answers?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes,
so,
there is.
Can you give me an example, please?
Yeah. There is a big difference, because in some society here in Burkina, very African, like women, they are not talking in front of men.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask them question between maybe their husband, they will say everything is okay, we don't have any problem. But if you take them separately, then you will have different answers. So now what we are doing is that there are some questions you can ask to all the group, but if you want to dive into the topic and have more information about the women, you need to take them apart, maybe when they are going to fetch water in the morning, or when they are preparing the food, because now there is no man over there. You just go and you will have your information. And to do that, you also need to be a woman, because it's more easy for a woman to get information from the women than a man. Because if you are a man, they will refuse to talk to you. It is like that. It is the society also. And when you are a woman, it is difficult for you to sometimes get some information from the men also.
Mm-hmm. But for example, if you ask the men, what do you need? And perhaps they say, well, we need more, for example, pesticides. And the women say, we need more access to water or drip irrigation. That difference, I mean. Or do they have the same goal in the end?
The thing is that this is something about educations, you know. It can seem to be very simple or something like that, but it isn't. So here, the thing is that if you want to know what women, because they will never tell you in front of men what they need. They will not tell you because they are maybe afraid, or yes, most of the time they are afraid because men will say after, why do you say bad things in front of those people? And this is education and society which is like that. So even it can be for a very simple subject, but it's very, sensitive. So
Okay. Oh, somebody wants to ask something. Andre?
Andre?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Andre, please.
Hello, I think you hear me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you,
Oh, good.
Fanny, Waternet, for all the good ideas, share and good practices. I just wanted to add some of my experiences. I really like what Ewout was talking about doing by example. We also had a program in the Sicily province in the south of Burkina Faso.
Okay.
Working for local development, acting in different nutrition and ladies, gender and development, but also schooling and agriculture, trying to respond to as much needs as possible, and also raising awareness. But the example I'm giving is that we were located in a village, and our content was actually a lady from a nearest village from the same ethnic group, who studied in the town, and then she came back and she was a content in the NGO, and she was hosting a dozen of children of her cousins and relatives from the village, and also the village people observed that she was also sometimes receiving some requests of some farmers who have a problems or financial problem or some advices. So then when we were then talking in that village, trying to raise the awareness of gender, how you better have inclusion on women development, schooling also not only the boys but also your
Girls.
daughters. The daughters, they are saying you don't need any more to advertise us because we see by side what that lady is doing, is talking much more than what ever advertisement you could do in our village. So now we are convinced, don't talk on that topic anymore, because we see that through the example of this lady, that it is really, really good to have if he was a man, they would say he would not be able to do such thing.
Yeah.
So I'm giving this example to just also emphasize that it is good training the women, giving them tools, etc. is also good to just ask them to be like ambassadors, working normal and being good person, being confident in their work and honest, and they would themselves be those factor of change, because yeah, we are now we are in a culture where we had other realities, and now many things have changed, but people still have some mindsets, and they need concrete examples to to be able to
Oh,
change. That's my first intervention. I don't know if I still have a few minutes to add something.
yes, go ahead, Andre. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Coming back on the question on the young lady who's asked how you make sure you are
Get
making
line.
progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, progress in the awareness or in the gender situation. As you said, Amfani, yes, during this period of starting the project, we are raising all the data to make sure we have a baseline situation, and then at the end you measure. It is not only, as she said, counting the number of participation. Now this is thing what we used to do in our project is to have ask the perception of the ladies of their own situation in the for their relationship at home between them and their husband, how the husband is considering them. Are they involved in decision making concerning families, meaning the schooling of the children, or with the decision to if a child is sick, how to do and how to spend the money of the family. And generally this is the business of of the man. So sometimes we are also going in that level to know the beginning, and then after the project intervention, you see that there are some ladies who can again in front of those questions saying that okay, we are more considered because we have more capacity in terms of because we are producing, maybe we get some equipment and more knowledge to run and to get more money, and we are helping in the expense of the family, helping to solve some issues. And now we have the perception that we are more considered in this area of decision making in the family. There are a lot, as you know, Fanny, there are a lot of ways to see how we achieve at the end of the project if something has been changed, not only in the participation but also at family, at household level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andre, for your great inputs. And yeah, as you said, I really like the story you told in the beginning of your intervention. And I think everybody in the chat is agreed that this is a good way of showing the good example and change the behavior. As this point is about agriculture and water management, I think it is more difficult because it's something about the land rights for women here. So, what are we doing? Because as I said in the beginning, this is not a presentation, but I am sent by these women to talk with you, all these participants, to get maybe some more ideas. Maybe we should have some, some area for the cooperatives of women, for the women group, so that they can work on it, have good results, good harvesting, sell it, and now earn more money to make good examples? Or what are we doing for this case? Yes, Dorcas?
I'm just thinking, I think land and water tenure is a really, really important one. But I'm just thinking, and we work also with a partner in Malawi, where 70% of the land is owned by women. It's women owned, and then it's passed through the family on the women's side. And that's it's to prevent the land moving out from the family. But it looks interesting, but when you read a lot of the research behind it and a lot of the studies that have been done, it appears that the husband and the brothers actually do a lot of the controlling of the decision making around the land. But it's just that when the woman marries, the land doesn't move out of the family. It stays within the family and gets passed down her line. So I think there is a very, very important thing in land and water tenure, but there's also an important thing in making the decisions around that. If the land and water tenure laws change, then also the women's role in making decisions about the land have to be there too, so that it isn't just a paper transfer, if you like.
Oh, yeah, I get you. And thank you for this contribution, which is also very important, because now we didn't even think about this aspect, but it is also something which we should take in consideration. William, I think the time is up now because we had 1 hour.
Yes, correct.
Okay. The discussions were very interesting, and we didn't want to stop, but unfortunately the time is up. And here are my contact details. Thank you, Arnold. And yeah, you can reach me via email or phone directly. I will respond to you. And maybe Andre, you can also put the address of your company who is working in the Sicily in the chat for the rest of the participants, so that we can also contact you.
Okay.
Dorcas also, I think she already put it in the chat for the rest. Thank you so much. And I will try to continue my work as a female leader. And yeah, and I count on all of you, to help me in that fight. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.